All right, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go into how we should build a high-ticket VSL funnel. And as of November 2025, I know I'm recording and posting this video as of December. My team and I have built over 70 VSL funnels for our clients. And if you have access to this document right now, if you want to see some of our most notable funnels, I'll also link them down below in the description. Go ahead and check out this portfolio here. It's not all of our funnels that we built, but it's a big chunk of the more notable projects we've worked on. Regardless, this SOP outlines the exact structure for building high-converting VSL funnels for both cold traffic and warm traffic scenarios. I would like you to follow this framework to ensure every single funnel element is strategically placed to maximize conversions. All right, keep in mind also that cold traffic needs education, credibility, and de-risking. Warm traffic, not as much, right? It needs more so a clear offer and an easy conversion path. It can be a bit smaller on the size of the structure, if that makes sense. All right, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So, firstly, the hero section, okay? This is absolutely required for every single VSL funnel. Without a hero section or without a VSL, you're not gonna have a VSL funnel in the first place, okay? So the whole purpose of this is to hook attention, establish relevance, and get them to watch the VSL. The first part is going to be the eyebrow or the callout, for example. It's basically brief text above this headline section here that calls out the target audience or could say something that's just a hook. It creates some kind of pattern interrupt and or a qualification. For example, 10 to 30K per month coaches only, or attention, course creators stuck at 6 figures. Okay, and this is just one example that I listed right here. The second thing is going to be the headline and or the offer statement. Okay, you can make the headline into an offer statement, or you can A/B test, which I highly recommend, and make it into a notable transformation or a case study or something like that. A couple of examples there. For example, I'll give you two of them right here. Right, how to scale from 30K to 100K per month without hiring a sales team or running paid ads, or discover how complete beginners are going from 0 to 6-figure cloud engineer in just 90 days. Okay. Number 3 is going to be the subline. This is the text right below the headline here. It's just going to be a supporting statement that could address skepticism, add urgency, or just simply act as a small call to action to watch the video below. For example, watch below to learn how, or turn any long form video into viral clips in seconds using only your phone, right? Number 4, and arguably the most important, is the VSL. This is going to be an embedded video player with the video attached to that hosting platform. Ideally, in my opinion, Vimeo or Wistia, preferably Wistia even, especially for analytics and also the autoplay feature. I haven't used Vimeo in a long time, so I use Wistia for all of my clients and my projects, so highly recommend you use Wistia, not sponsored at all. Next thing, it should be prominently displayed full width or centered on the screen. And this goes for mobile as well. Mobile is the most important version. If it's not centered, displayed prominently in full width, it's just not going to have the kind of conversions that you want to see, okay? And for more information on how to properly write and film a VSL, I made a full SOP here, and I'll link access down below as well. And you can go ahead and access this and look at that VSL framework I built for you. Okay. Number 5 is going to be the CTA, or the call to action button. This is going to be the primary button directly below the VSL. It is a clear, action-oriented copywriting. For example, book your strategy call, or apply now for program, or just apply now. It should stand out visually, have contrasting colorways, and also sufficient padding below the VSL and also above the other sections we're going to talk about in just a second, okay? For example, if we hover over this button on the actual funnel that we built for this client here, it goes from pink to white, and the arrow turns from pink to white, and this text goes from white to pink. You get the point, right? All right, and let's get into the nitty-gritty stuff here, okay? For a cold traffic funnel, a full build-out is required, in my opinion, with the testing that my business partner and I have done with our agency, okay? When running cold traffic, whether that be paid ads, cold outreach, or new audiences, prospects need significantly more trust-building, education, and de-risking before they will convert to your offer. I would like you to build these sections in this exact order. Number 1 is the trusted by section. The whole purpose of this is to establish immediate credibility and social proof through the power of association. Now, if you're building a high-ticket VSL funnel for yourself, whether you're an agency, you're a coach, or a consultant, I highly recommend having a slideshow or a carousel. Now, if you are more of like a SaaS company, you could have just like a layout of these are our customers or our clients that we've worked with or that use our platform, for example. But if you're a coach or a consultant, I highly recommend just like brands you've partnered with or things like that, just kind of in this this carousel wheel here. Okay, it could be clients, partners, media features, or certifications. I recommend 6 to 12 logos minimum for visual impact because if it goes too fast and someone stays in the funnel more than enough time, then they'll see that the prospects or the clients' logos are duplicated, which isn't good because it just makes you look like you haven't worked with as many people as you say you have. Okay. Overall, just keep the whole thing subtle, and grayscale logos sometimes work well, especially on these SaaS funnels. So yeah. Okay. And a copy example could be, trusted by industry leaders or brands we've helped build and scale, or as seen in, clients include, or simply just trusted by, which is something that we use. Okay. Number 2 is going to be the form or CTA embed. This is completely optional, but it is recommended for some funnels, especially the ones that don't have a whole lot of sections on them and can kind of spare with some space. All right. The whole purpose of this is to reduce friction by allowing prospects to apply or book directly on the page without navigating away. Okay, you could have an embedded Calendly, Typeform, or other booking form that you use. For me, I don't use Typeform. We use a Calendly embed, but it's not even like embedded into the funnel. You just click the button and it stays on the same page. It's like embedded into the domain, so it doesn't actually go to a different page, if that makes sense, right? But even just an easier version with this Typeform that you could do with no coding necessary, you can literally just go in a Framer and then get the embed thing, embed that link from Typeform, and then it'll embed right there pretty easily. Okay. It should fit pretty cleanly, but still stand out. It should be positioned strategically between credibility sections. And when to use this, going to be for high ticket offers, 3K plus. I wouldn't recommend any kind of application form for any offer below 2K. It's just not totally necessary here. But if you have a high ticket offer, or even like a high mid ticket offer, highly recommend using not only a type form or an application form, but embedding one on the funnel as well. Okay. So number 3 is going to be the student or client interviews. I recommend 3 to 5 if you can. I know these are relatively hard to get, so if you can only get 2 or 1, it's okay. But recommend using 3 to 5 because it looks better for you. This is the one, the draft funnel. Brez isn't currently using this, but we built a draft funnel for Brez and his team, and we just listed a bunch of case studies that he uses here. I believe there's about 5 or 6 on this section here, interviews with our students. The whole purpose of this is to provide deep, relatable social proof through real client stories and transformations. And I would like you to include video testimonials in these sections, obviously, or written case studies if you can, to get the videos with photos. Each video should be minimum 60 to 120 seconds of the video. You can see here that this one is like, if I can zoom in, it's like 12 minutes. I recommend videos really being 10, 15, 20 minutes even. 60 to 120 seconds is really just for like case studies or like testimonials, sorry. But if you have like an actual case study or a student interview, highly recommend using, a video that's full length, 15, 20 minutes even. It should do great. The whole point of it is to just give, unbiased feedback on working with you and what that's like, right? So I want you to focus on when making these videos, where that prospect, that client, or that student were, what they struggled with, what you helped them achieve, and of course, where they are now. And if you need the exact key questions that drive growth in these interviews that we created, book a call now to work with us if you have access to this form. It also includes specific results, revenue numbers, time saved, and clients gained in these interviews as well. And ideally place this right after the Trusted By section, the first thing that people see, because this is going to increase conversions tremendously. Okay. Number 4 is going to be about your program. The whole purpose of this is to frame what your offer actually is and why it exists in the first place. You can include 2 to 4 paragraphs explaining the philosophy behind your methodology and also why you created this program or service in the first place. Try not to be too salesy, just be educational about like why your program is the way it is, address market concerns and how you're the authority in the space, if that makes sense. Number 5 is what's inside and what people get working with you. Okay, the whole purpose of this is to clearly outline deliverables, modules, and tangible components of working with you. And a couple things you can include, as you see here below, is like a bullet list or a module breakdown of what's included. It can be structured as like a weekly breakdown, a component list, or curriculum modules. And ideally, to kind of make these things stand out, you can have like icons or check marks next to each of these sections here. Or you can use accordion tabs. For example, like a lot of FAQ sections you see in a lot of funnels. You got to click them and they go down, right? If that makes sense. You can do the same thing here if you want to, but we always just use like icons or check marks right here, just to kind of show like it's approved that this thing is in here. Just something small. You get the point. And number 6 is going to be meet the mentor section. This is extremely important for cold traffic. The whole purpose of this is to build personal credibility and authority, and also answer the question, why should I listen to you specifically? So to include, highly recommend a professional photo on brand and high quality if you can get one. the story in the background of the person as well. Couple different paragraphs of that. Jesus, where you started, what you've accomplished, and why you're uniquely qualified to teach this. A couple of credibility markers as well. Okay, years of experience, client results, milestones in terms of revenue, media mentions, or notable partnerships that you have. And the whole tone you should use is like confident but relatable. Don't be arrogant. Don't be like trying to be above everybody else when you're talking about this. Just say your story, say your experience, say your credibility. Just be educational. That's the whole point of it. Okay. A couple different structures you could use as an example is like I'm name, and over the past X amount of years, I've helped X number of coaches, for example, scale to point A to point B, or I've personally done X, Y, Z. Now I'm on a mission to help you or the ICP you're targeting do the exact same. I know this section that I screenshotted here that you're seeing right now is a webinar one, but this is just a pretty good example of something that you could do, right? We have meet the mentor, meet your host, the mentor, this person, and then listing off where they started, why they started, and how they help you now, right? Okay. Number 7 is going to be the us versus them section. The whole purpose of this is to differentiate your method from competitors and alternatives and create a clear contrast. Now, what I recommend including is a side-by-side comparison or a bullet list format like you see here. You could have like traditional coaching consulting versus our method or the program, and also address common industry problems and how you actually solve those differently than everybody else. Now, I recommend like 4 to 6 comparison points minimum. More than that gets kind of long. Less than that gets kind of pointless to even have in the first place. And also just keep the points very concise but clear, right? You don't want to have like a whole bunch of paragraphs here. Just have like a couple quick points of what you actually do differently than everybody else and why you're better to work with. Number 8 is the transformation section. This is very important. The whole purpose of this is to paint a vivid before and after picture and make the outcome tangible and emotionally compelling. Okay. Now, some things you can include is a split visual, for example, where you are now versus where you'll be after working with us. Left side is the current pain. It could be like revenue that you're stuck at, working X amount of hours per week, constantly chasing clients, having low margins and high stress and no time freedom. Right side, which is like the future, actually working with us or after working with us, right? Consistently hitting a lot higher revenue numbers. Business runs without you, so you save time. Clients come to you, so you don't have to actually stress about getting new clients. And you have high margins, good freedom, and actual leverage too. Okay. Some visual treatment for this. You could have 2 columns like we have here. We usually do like 2 futures, 2 paths, 1 choice. Which one are you going to be? You can include like contrasting imagery or colors to emphasize the gap from point A to point B. For example, you can clearly see that this section here on the right is what would happen after working with a person, and this is where you are here without even having to read the copy in the first place. You can just see that this one's bigger, stands out more, it's more bold, better colors, right? You get the point. All right, number 9 is going to be who this is for versus who this is not for. The purpose of this is to pre-qualify leads and create self-selection, which is very important. And also addresses objections by being upfront about fit. Now, some things you can include for this is this is for you if, and this is not for you if section, okay? And the this is for you if section, it could be 4 to 6 bullet points describing the ideal client characteristics that the person selling the program is actually looking for in clients. And also be very specific about revenue situation and the mindset of who this person is looking for. If it's you, who are you looking for? If it's your client, who are they looking for? Okay. For example, you're doing 10 to 30K per month and ready to scale to 50K plus. And then this is not for you if 3 to 4 bullet points describing the poor client fits, disqualified tire kickers, wrong stage people, and also people with the wrong mindset. For example, you're looking for a quick fix or a magic bullet. Don't want to work with that kind of person. Right? The tone, direct but not harsh. The goal is to create urgency through exclusivity. Number 10, FAQs. Very important, usually highly overlooked in the first place. All right. We recommend like 6+ questions. Anything less than that, it gets just kind of pointless. But more than that's good. Just don't do like 20. It just gets super long for no reason. You should be able to have like a bunch of different questions that pop up in the sales process that you can address. Just find the most common 6 to 12 questions and list them there. If you want more questions, you can also list them in video formats on the thank you or the call confirmation page as well, right? Now, the purpose of the FAQs is to handle common objections and reduce friction before the call or even the application. Now, some things you can include is 6 to 10 or even 12 most commonly asked questions that prospects ask you in the sales process, addressing pricing concerns, time commitment, results, guarantees, who it's for, requirements, et cetera, right? It highly depends on the offer specifically. The format is the accordion, collapsible sections that are preferred, obviously. For example, you click one of these and then it kind of expands, right? Keep these answers concise, but also thorough. 3 to 5 sentences max is recommended. Now, a couple different questions here, right? How much does this cost? How long does it take to see results? What if I'm already working with another coach or, whatever person that, you're trying to be the substitute for? Do you offer payment plans? What's your guarantee? How much time do I need to commit? And obviously make sure these questions are tailored to the most common asked questions that prospects actually ask you that arise in your specific sales process. Now, here are a couple of additional elements you can add. They're not totally necessary, but they can be recommended to add if you have space or you have time. Okay. Next thing is testimonials or results, like a carousel or a grid section can be placed like right after the Meet to Mentor section, at the very bottom, before the final call to action at the bottom of the page, or kind of like interspersed between sections as proof breaks, if that makes sense. You should use like a slider or a carousel for space efficiency, if placed anywhere other than the very bottom to kind of conserve space for other sections. If you place it at the very bottom, it's totally fine to have it just kind of go all the way down. But if you have it between sections, like interspersed, highly recommend just using some kind of like arrow carousel thing to kind of scroll through them, right? Should be a mix of video snippets, screenshots, maybe even written quotes, but I don't recommend using those that much. Make sure they are sorted into different sections though. For example, don't include videos with screenshots or quotes with videos, right? Prioritize results with numbers, revenue, clients, growth percentages. Ideally, do not have these sections moving automatically. Otherwise, it may slow down the loading time of the funnel, and the whole point of the funnel is to have conversions. And if it's lagging and it's slowing down, well, you're kind of fucking yourself over here. Next is the final call to action section. Just repeat a primary call to action at the very bottom of the funnel, like right above the footer, in the middle of the funnel if you can as well, kind of beneath one of the key sections that I listed previously. Add urgency if applicable, for example, limited spots available, and the button should match the button on the hero section too. All right, and now we're going to get into the warm traffic here. This is going to be a very simplified build. I already told you when running cold traffic, whether that be an email list, organic content, retargeting ads, having an existing audience of any kind, prospects already know, probably like you and trust you. They need less education and more conversion ease. Okay, these are the only required sections you need. Hero section, which is all these things we listed already. The CTA form embed. The form embed is again recommended, but it's not necessary. Just have some kind of CTA in the first place, and then the results or the win section. It is optional, but it's also effective. Having just more case studies, social proof, things like that. The page can be short. I'm not saying you have to do just this. You can definitely do all these sections in the cold for the warm traffic, but if you do want to conserve space, you can kind of condense these things into this just warm traffic setup here. Okay. Now, a couple of optional add-ons here based on your market or your offer. These sections can enhance the funnel overall, but they're not required for every single build. Just make sure you add them strategically based on market sophistication, offer complexity, the price point, and also the competition that you have. All right. Number one, address market problem and the solution. Once you use this during new or unsophisticated markets that don't yet understand the problem that you're trying to solve, you have some kind of novel solution maybe that requires education, or you have a super crowded market where you need to reframe the problem. Now you should place this right after the hero section or before even the client interviews, and structure this 2 to 3 paragraphs outlining the core problem, transition into how your program helps or solves it, and then also set up the rest of the funnel as the solution to that market problem. Okay. Number 2 is the additional qualification section. You can use this for super high ticket offers like 10K plus, very exclusive programs with super limited spots, and also when you want to filter out poor fit leads very aggressively, and you have a lot of them, right? And you can place this between like the who this is for section or standalone before FAQs. And you can structure this as like the application requirements or minimum criteria, or to qualify, you must do XYZ. The whole point is to kind of just create exclusivity and increase the perceived value. Number 3 is another place for the guarantee. You can use this in a risk-averse market, a new offer or brand without extensive proof, or when you want to reduce purchase anxiety. You can place this near the final CTA at the bottom. It can be highlighted in the FAQs, or you can just kind of have this as a standalone section, which I don't really recommend, but you can do that kind of like after the transformation section if you want instead. All right. You already know the kinds of guarantees that there are, so I'm not going to go through this. Now, it's time you build your own funnel, okay? So here's the checklist that I have. We have the cold traffic funnel, which is all these things here when you're actually building the funnel in lifetime. Just check these things off. Make sure you have all these things here, including the optional add-ons that we did. Now, if you want this whole thing here, this entire SOP I built for you, including this checklist here, go to my Instagram and DM me the word VSL funnel to get access to this, okay? Now, a couple of technical notes here. Page speed is very important, okay? You want to optimize all the images, compress them if needed, reduce animations whenever possible. Don't have a bunch of animations on the funnel everywhere. Host a VSL and Vimeo or Wistia, as I said, not YouTube, and you get better analytics anyways, better autoplay feature, and you also get no distractions because you're not required to click on the video after. And I highly recommend, because I've been speaking about it this entire time, all of our clients' funnels are built in Framer. Now, you can use Framer to build the funnel and then host it into GHL or ClickFunnels after, but Framer is just the best thing now. I mean, ClickFunnels is getting outdated. GHL is completely outdated, so I highly recommend using Framer. It's the best in terms of looks and conversions, in my opinion, and also, I mean, you get the point. It's Framer. It looks the best. It performs the best, so. All right, now for the mobile optimization, you want to stack all sections vertically on the mobile version. Ensure CTA sections are thumb friendly, for example, minimum of 44 px height, and then test the VSL player on all mobile devices. Because a lot of the mobile devices kind of change the layout a little bit. For example, I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max. My business partner is an iPhone 15, and the layout actually looks differently on multiple our phones. So make sure on Framer, when you actually build these things, it looks a little bit different, okay? And it kind of just holds the structure together, which is what you want. Now for tracking, you should install a Facebook, and ideally, if you could afford it, a Hyros Pixel, and a Google Analytics section on the page as well. The whole point of this is to set up tracking for the VSL play, all the completion metrics of watching the VSL, CTA clicks, form starts, form submissions, calls booked, time on funnel, etc. This will help you tremendously, especially when running cold traffic. And when also A/B testing, you should A/B test the headline, especially the VSL thumbnail if you want to as well. But if you're doing autoplay, it's not needed. The CTA button, the copy, the color on that, the order of the testimonials, and even the order of the sections sometimes, right? Don't fully trust me in everything I'm saying here. This has been mostly applicable to a lot of the clients we've worked with, all these sections in this order, but it's not completely necessary, so A/B test if you want to as well, okay? Now, in conclusion, this SOP is a blueprint, not a rigid template. As I just said, I want you to adjust based off of your specific market sophistication, offer complexity and price point, and also all of the available assets that you have, testimonials, logos, case studies, etc. Okay. The golden rule for this: cold traffic needs more proof and education. Warm traffic needs less friction and faster conversions. Build accordingly, test ruthlessly, and scale what works. Now, for next steps, if you want us to build or optimize a high converting VSL funnel for your high ticket offer or any other kind of funnel as well, book a call here. And if you want more resources, go ahead and follow me at Josh S. Klein on my Instagram here. Subscribe to the YouTube, like, comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye-bye.